Bet you didn't think you'd see me again so soon, huh? Huh? I'm Photo Dave, this is Toypixx, and today we look at an action figure that may very well crush the rest of my collection with his bare hands. And maybe a laser pistol. We're gonna cut right to looking at Megs here, and ladies and gentlemen, there were two reasons when it came to collecting that would make me go to sleep and cry into my pillow. The first reason is I didn't think people were taking Jaded Toys Street Fighter line seriously. Now I think they are now, so that's good. The second reason is because they're not jumping in on the Transformers MDLX line from ThreeZero, and Megatron here is just another glorious reason why you really should be. Check this thing out. Now, I know that if you're not into Transformers that don't transform, this line's not for you. But if you are into Transformers like this, good lord, man. This is my kind of thing. I've said before, I don't like all 80s all the time. It drives me crazy. This is kind of taking the 1980s style Megatron and updating him to what he possibly could have looked like in the Transformers movies. A design I would have enjoyed personally a lot more than what we got from the Bayverse. But I digress. The detail on this thing is just absolutely ridiculous. It's got some die-cast going on. It's got that crazy articulation. I'll show you some of that. If you've picked up the MDLX line, you know some of what to look for. But I'm going to do this more kind of like you haven't, because I'm not sure people are going as nuts on it as they probably should. So, yeah. Let's get into just checking out how this bad boy moves. One of the very cool things about the MDLX line is how they do their shoulders. So with Megatron here, you just pull this up, pop this out this way, and his shoulder goes way up. Kind of hard to see, let's back him up a bit. But that's insane motion. Keep in mind, this guy was $80 from Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, ThreeZero. He's basically $80 everywhere that you could have gotten him. I'll look and see if you can still find him somewhere. I know Entertainment Earth is sold out. So that's just a little bit of what they can do on the shoulders. Now when it comes to the hips, and a lot of Transformers have done this kind of thing lately, so you probably won't be surprised. Flaps on MDLX figures are the pieces that you gotta look out for just falling off. They don't break, at least I haven't had any that snap, but watch out for the flaps because they will fall off. So that flaps up, and pretty good movement at the leg. Pretty good knee bend as well. You'll get the lower bend, and you also get the upper bend. Hang on. Clearly, 3-0s are a little trickier to figure out than every other kind. And there was that flap falling off. See? I wasn't too careful when I was trying to figure out that double knee bend. So those are the big things to look out for when it comes to 3-0. Are the flaps at the waist. Just looking out for those to stay where you need them to stay for the articulation. The shoulder joint movement. As far as everything else, it's fairly standard. You've got some rock here at the ankles. Let me get my hand out of the way there. Just a touch. It's not too crazy, but it's pretty good. But yeah, for $80, this thing, I think anyway, delivers a massive amount of value. You can see, check out its head here. Turn this over. One day I'll get a decent camera set up so we can do this for real. Let's see. Alright, so we're zoomed in a bit on the head. Get my hand out of the light. But it can move kind of all over the place. You can see all kinds of the vaunted tilt. It's going to look up some, not too crazy. look down pretty well, honestly. And of course, you're going to get it to turn however you want it to turn. But yeah, I mean, these things are just incredible. This is what 1980s Transformers brought to today, I think, should look like. I'm just blown away by what ThreeZero does with this line. Now, when we're talking accessories for Mr. Peace Through Tyranny, this arm cannon does come off, as does the barrel. The barrel is right here. Nothing too crazy there. And it comes off so you can insert the back piece that used to be the barrel of the Walther P-38 that he was way back in 1984. You just plug this in right there and you've got that. It's not something I do. If you want to see it done, then there are plenty of videos talking about this guy. And if you want me to get more in depth with things like that, just let me know. I'm happy to do it. I just figure there's a lot more videos talking about it. He also comes with 4 additional hands. I've actually got one of the additional hands on there. We've got kind of the sinister open hand, like, evil plan kind of thing. We have just a standard gripping hand. We have a fist for when he tells Prime he'll crush him with his bare hands. And you've got the standard Transformers pointer. So he doesn't come with tons of stuff, but I'm okay with it. I think he's an incredibly impressive figure. Right now, I don't know who will be my figure of the year, but he is definitely in contention. I know Rodimus is supposed to come out before the end of the year. He might end up in the mix as well, because these things are just knocking my socks off. Optimus Prime last year was my figure of the year. So Megatron, I'd say he's got a shot. Ha ha! Gun pun. Now Megatron is one shiny dude, so when it comes to shooting the guy, I recommend diffusing the light that you're using. Now, the light that I have on the right now is not at all diffused. The light I have on the left that's shining more on the front of him is diffused. If I didn't do that, we'd have just a mess of white glare all over the screen right now. And the nice thing is, when it's a real shiny figure, even when you diffuse the light on him, you can still see the shine. I mean, that's insane. This part right here is being hit by the diffused light. And so you can really tell the difference. This is being hit by the diffused light. Everything on this side hit by the diffused light. And my hand shadow, look at that, yay. But anyway, shooting this guy, pretty darn simple. Just diffuse the light, and if you want some kind of look where he's coming through a bright room or something like that, take a diffuser off and have him do it. Because this guy, whew, he should be menacing, and he's got all the articulation of just a standard whatever 6 or 7 inch action figure you have. So yeah, you can make this guy just look absolutely terrifying, as if he's not already. Now, this is kind of the part of the video where I normally go through just a crazy amount of size comparisons, which I do for more of my 6"/112 scale figures, but here, when it comes to the MDLX line, I've only got 3 molds, so I figure this is the most appropriate size comparison, although we can throw in B as well. Let's try right there. Yeah, Megatron, he's a pretty big dude. Now, so you know, Optimus is just about 7 inches tall to the top of his head. Megs is a little bigger, and I have to say, as a figure, he looks a lot more imposing, which I guess makes sense, considering the slightly evil nature of such a evil peace through tyranny kind of guy. So yeah, when I'm thinking final thoughts for Megatron here, I don't know what to say. This guy is a top 10 contender, at least in my collection for sure. Probably a top 3 contender, we'll see. Rodimus is still inbound. Hopefully by the end of the year he'll show up. But this is just so cool. And it makes me so sad that so many people have kind of skipped on him. But like I said earlier in the video, I'll try and find him online and leave a link in the video description just so if you want him, you have a chance at grabbing him. Because, yeah man, I think this one's even better than Prime, and Prime was my figure of the year last year, so there's that. If you dig the MDLX line, get you some Megs. And now today's photo of the day. It's Wolverine Wednesday, so of course I'm gonna throw up the old Knucklehead. Make sure you scan the QR code, that way you can comment on the X/Twitter, I suppose, with pictures of your own Wolverine action figures. Just really stoked to see that stuff. And remember that all the QR codes I put on here, I'll also have links to those in the video description below. So yeah, comment, let me see pics. Because Wolverine's probably the best character ever. Come at me. And for today's Patreon freebie, because it's Wolverine Wednesday, and I won't do this perfectly themed every time, but it just worked out this time, I created a Canadian bar wallpaper, free for download. So click on the QR code, head over to Patreon, grab this bad boy. Remember, you don't have to spend a dime to get all the stuff that I put on Patreon. I'll probably end up tweaking that only because I want the paying members to get something extra. So what that will probably do is, or probably be, is some chatting, maybe some extra videos for them, that sort of deal. But anything that's an instruction manual, any images, any background type stuff, any graphics, any kind of layouts that you can use, basically anything physical, or I suppose digital, that can help you with your action figure photography, you'll always be able to grab off the Toypixx Patreon. So, again, if you need the bar, grab it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I've got for this one, except one more thing. If you dig really cool stuff, and you haven't jumped on the MDLX train yet, do it. They're pretty rad. Now, thanks as always for checking out the video. Comment below and let me know if you have jumped in on MDLX. And as always, folks, have fun and happy snapping. See ya.